This is what we are faced with. And this is a reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
What do you have to lose? You're living in poverty. Your schools are no good. You have no jobs. 58% of your youth is unemployed. What the hell do you have to lose?
Report live from the other side of America.
So we have to have a new approach, a new appraisal. And this new appraisal and new approach has to be in tune with the reality of the conditions that we are in.
Report live from the other side of America.
And everything in my society taught me that white people were better than black people. Yes, but this is just a past systemic racism.
Strategize, organize, and mobilize.
So what if the guy threw a shoe at me?
Plain Pochan with the language. It takes two to tango. As soon as these go, we go.
Report live from the other side of America.
Key, what's going on, man?
What's up, boss man?
What's going on, man? All right, everybody, we are live. We are live. Okay, if you can see this, make sure that you hit the share button. Make sure you hit the share button. All right, cool. Everybody, we are live. What we want to know right now, if you can do us a favor, let us know what city are you in. We got people from all over the place. Let us know what city are you in. We like to know everybody that's here. Keep in mind, if you're not directly commenting on this thread, I can't see it, you know. So if you could make sure that you comment on the thread so we know that you are here. You know, who's out there and what city are you in? All right, we got some watch parties already started, Keith.
Yeah, I got it going right now.
All right, man. Hey, this ain't.
I got it going right now for you.
This ain't time to get ADHD on me, man. Hey, but I tell you, hey, look, me and Keith were talking real quick, y'all. Like I said, make sure you comment, let us know what city you in. We want to know who's watching right now. But yeah, me and Keith were talking behind the scenes a little bit, and you know, I had mentioned to Keith, I said, man, it feels like we wake up in the twilight zone every morning. We don't know what in the world we gonna be faced with today.
Exactly.
Yeah, man, it's getting more interesting. How your week been going there, brother?
Man, it's been going well so far. It's been going well. Again, you know, waking up to the unexpected. You don't know what's going to happen. You got the weather, got it raining and storming every day. So, you know, just taking it one day at a time.
Yeah. The weather on top of everything else, man. All right, anybody that's watching, make sure you let us know what city you are in. We want to know who is watching us. All right, cool. Let us know.
We got on the watch party. We got Mr. Lee Irvin. We got TK Rich. We got Shantae Lemons. We got Miss Jewel Wilson from Thomasville.
Okay.
We got Miss Ava Dukes. We got Shirley Whitehead. We got D. Lurie. We got Dabrianna Easley. We got Cody Robinson.
Okay.
In the house.
All right, man. Quite a few people over there, man. Thomasville representing South Georgia in the building deep. we greatly appreciate y'all for showing up. All right, cool. All right. Yeah, so this week, man, this is the topic, and if you guys first time tuning in, I'm Jason, Coach Jay Hunter. This is my co-host, Mr. Keith McIntyre, the minister. The minister. All right. Yeah, so Keith McIntyre. All right, and with us, we started a thing called Shift. This is what 7th week, 8th week doing this, man. What week we on, Keith? Like the 7th or the 8th? Keith, can you hear me? Keith, can you hear me, man? Oh, Lord. Technical difficulty, you done got froze. All right, Keith, can you hear me? Every week. Every week. So this is like our 7th, 8th week right here. And just as usual, every single time Keith start having technical difficulties with his technology. All right, so anyway, we started Shift. Yeah, get together, Keith. He'll be back on. All right, so we started Shift about 7 or 8 weeks ago. This is our 7 or 8 week doing this, and we came up with something that a platform to be able to present to people that's in an engaging way and allows for people to be able to discuss. You back, man? You back, Keith?
food.
Keith, are you back?
I'm here.
Man, 8 times, bro. We've been at this 8 times and you ain't figured it out. Yeah.
Man, this thing is crazy, man. I told you it's Twilight, man.
Hey, we before we came on, we were working, before we came on, man, we were testing the stuff out and it was glitching a little bit, but then you worked out the kinks, and now here we go again. Oh boy, man, I can't win like this, bro.
Crazy. It's just crazy, man.
Yeah. All right, so 8 weeks of having technical difficulties with Keith's equipment, right?
It's gonna be all right one day.
Yeah, okay, I got you. All right, I gotta drink more coffee. Man. Yeah, so yeah, we started this 8 weeks ago with the intent to be able to give a platform for people to discuss real life issues, real life situations and concerns, and to expose people with different types of solutions that are out there. That's what it's all about. So there's a shift that's taking place in the world generally and in America specifically. So what we want to do is to make sure that we are being a part of the change that it is that we want to see. So whether you like it or not, the new world is here. We have arrived into it, and there's a lot of adjustments that are going to need to be made in order for us to survive, flourish, and thrive. Point blank, period. And that's the bottom line. All right, cool. So the topic of the day that we're going into, once again, if you can see this, make sure you let us know what city you're in. But the topic of the day is education, right? We tapped on education once before, but this time we're going into the business of education. And we kind of went around and asked people throughout the week what were some of the concerns and what were some of the solutions and the options that are out there. So we have a kind of a good idea. We're going to discuss that tonight. Feel free. This is an open forum. That means that you can comment, you can ask questions, you can participate, you can be involved, you can be fully engaged in the part of this conversation. That's what we want to happen. And our ultimate goal is that we walk away and people walk away from this feeling a little bit better about whatever it is that they need to do. We want you to feel better about your situation than how you we want for you to leave better than how you came in, point blank, period. So if we help contribute to that in any shape, form, or manner, then we did what it is we're supposed to do. All right, so this week's topic, and before we get in that, Keith, I'm just gonna be kind of transparent with you, man, because I just need a couple seconds to vent just a little bit. I tell you, it's getting weirder and weirder every single day. It's like you wake up and as soon as you think that you all right, or you get into a place to where you got a little bit of peace, you got your stuff together, it's almost like you get uppercutted with something else. Exactly. I know that. Yeah, I know it's the case for me, man. I'm a little sensitive to community issues, especially issues that occur and happen to people that look like me. I'm very sensitive. It affects me in a way it's real hard for me to turn a blind eye to it. All I want to do is wake up every day and focus on the work that I need to do, so I can make this world a better place. However, when all these different things that occur while I'm minding my business, keep on happening, it does something to me, man, internally that kind of throws me off. So what I'm gonna do right now is kind of vent this one thing out. I don't know if you saw this. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. See if we
got Miss Sandra Austin from the Boys and Girls Club here, Thomasville. She on here. She on the party.
What's going on, Miss Sandra? Yeah.
We got Jessica Whitehead on here. We got Drika Cooper on here. We got Jay Lee on here.
Okay. All right.
Thomasville representing tonight.
Oh yeah, man. I'm starting to feel special now. I appreciate y'all, Thomasville. Hey, it was cool. I was there. I stopped through every now and then. However, hey, the water is beautiful down south, brother. All right, cool, man. So all it is, man. So I'm gonna share my screen right here. Hopefully we can peer this. But let's look at this, man. This really caught me off guard here. And I'm not gonna say so much caught me off guard. What happened was, have you seen this incident right here, man? Here, Larry.
I haven't seen it.
Okay, but this is the brother that got killed, I think, back in January, right? And basically, like 5 days ago, the state attorney came back and cleared the cops that were involved in the shoot in his death. It wasn't a shooting death. It was basically dudes in the back seat of the car. They picked him up from supposed drug bust. Supposedly he had drugs on him and he attempted to swallow the drugs or whatnot. You know, but the video footage was finally released after months of people asking for the video footage to be released. And you know, I just happened to scroll across it and see it, and just the imagery of being able to see it, man, it did something to me, to where like I don't want to see no more of this stuff, to be real with you. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, why the guy was, you can apparently see why the guy was actually dying, you know, going out of consciousness and stuff. You know, you had one officer was sitting there taking his baton and sticking it in his throat, trying to get him to gag out the drugs instead of trying to say, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I gotta kind of vent this one out, because I know a lot of law enforcement, you know, and I know you do. You have a lot of personal relationships with law enforcement, but I had a conversation with one of them. This guy I look to like one of my brothers, man, down he's in Orlando. And you know, I was talking to him about some stuff that I was working on with community policing, right? And first thing that came out of his mouth, he said, "Bruh, you talking to the police?" So I'm trying to explain to him, like, look, man, I'm real interested in trying to at least put some type of solution out there that might be doable, you know, to help curb this stuff. However, you know, bro, just like, I mean, he's done. You know what I'm saying? Like he's pretty much fed up with all of it. There's basically, and this is why I really want to express, especially if there's any law enforcement that's watching out there. We had a couple of people that are involved in law enforcement on this show. You know, we appreciate them. You know, it's nothing against law enforcement, but at the same time, where we at right now is called self-preservation. It's the law of self-preservation. That's the law of the land, man. You know, so if something is not done about these incidents very quick, fast, and in a hurry, and this is not a priority that is taken care of immediately, what is going to happen is that you're going to have people such as myself, you know, that are fully prepared to defend themselves at all costs when we come into these encounters. Yeah, I mean, it's self-preservation. You know, I really have to vent that off, man, because I guarantee, you know, I want for all law enforcement to be able to go do their job, show up, do what they got to do, and go home to their family safely. I love for that to happen. But as well is that I want to make sure I am able to do the same thing. So if it's between me and a police officer, I'm gonna make sure that I take care of me first. And that's just kind of where we at right now. And on the flip side of that, you know, I'm gonna let it be very well known. And I'm not just speaking for myself, I'm speaking for a lot of people, a lot of men in specific that I've already conversated with, and we all see it the same as that way. So if anyone is really in a position and they are very interested in doing something to rectify these issues immediately, you may want to listen to me. You know, but the bottom line is this, is that you know, when these things start occurring, there is no more sitting back and watching and waiting to see what happens. You know, and that's pretty much the bottom line. I just wanted to make sure I bent that out and put it out there in the atmosphere, so it's already known, and on two, it's on record. You know what I'm saying? Jason Hunter already said Jason Hunter said what he believes. So if anybody need to come in and testify on my behalf, here it is. Y'all just remember that I said this. You know, it's you know, I'm in fear for my life, man, every time I step behind the wheel. You know, that's just you know, that is the way I feel about it. You know,
and that's the thing. So definitely for me, it's even a traffic stop. You know, that even scares me. Even though I know that I'm legal, I have license, I have insurance, I'm good. But just the fact to know that you may get a traffic stop and something may go wrong, you know, that's the scare right now, that with everything that's going on. And then with these body cams, they're not releasing videos immediately. That's an issue.
Well, I mean, you asked for is transparency, man. That's all people been asking for, is transparency. Be transparent about what's going on. You know, you transparent enough to take $1 from us. You transparent enough to take my tax money. You know, you transparent enough to take some type of a donation or anything I give to a fraternal organization. You transparent enough to do all that. be transparent enough to give me what it is, the respect that and the decency to be treated as a human being. And that's all it is, communication. Without healthy lines of communication, there can be no healthy relationships. You
Exactly.
know, that's just the bottom line. So transparency, that's the only thing people are asking for. You know, and ain't nobody asking for you to flip the world upside down. Just start one thing by just being completely transparent from beginning to end. You know, you can't even do that.
Exactly.
If you can't even do that, man, then hey, ain't nothing to really talk about. You know, one step at a time. All right, cool. So now we're gonna move into the topic of the night. We just had to get that one off my chest, man. I can't hold stuff in. Now we're gonna move to the top of the night, and it is shift the
Yeah, you can't hold that stuff in. Don't hold that stuff in like
that. Yeah, I learned a long time ago. But now we're gonna move into the top of the night, which is the business of education. And once again, if anybody, because I can't see no comments here, man. Yeah, I think something going on with my broadcast, man. I can't see any of my comments on here. Let me check out my feed right here. I'm sorry about that, man. Because you already know.
Let me see if I can see any.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't see any live video comments. I don't see any.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Even in the one I'm in, let me see. Let me go to my page right here.
My watch party pretty lit.
Oh, it is? Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah, anybody watching, make sure you comment. Make sure you comment so we can see. Let me see. Oh, I don't even see where it show I went live.
Oh yeah, I got it on my tablet.
Okay.
We got 15 viewers on that live.
All right. Cool. All right, cool. All right, well now let's keep it moving, man. Let's keep it moving. So we're gonna try to make this interesting. Let me see. Once again, if you can see this right now, make sure you drop a comment in so we know that you're watching. I can see that we got the viewers on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let me see that.
Miss Sandra said we in listening mode.
Oh, listening mode. All right, cool. All right, cool. So they're gonna make us ride out on it. All right, so yeah,
make us work today.
The business of education. All right, so now let's go ahead and have some fun with it, right? Because this is the part, and somebody kind of pointed this out to me. So I'm gonna share my screen one more time, right? And we're gonna look at something. You tell me if it's interesting or not. Okay. Here we are. Okay. Now I'm down in Florida. Okay, so in Florida, you had, I don't know if you're aware, but Florida, you have why is he doing this right here? You had this happen, right? To where literally the people over the school system in Florida, statewide, they decided to order all schools that have brick and mortar locations, all schools to open up, right? They ordered them to open up. Even if they want to do online, they still have to open up their doors somehow, some way. And right now they're supposed to be submitting their plans for exactly how it is that they say that they're going to get it done. Right now, despite surging COVID-19 cases, if no one's if you're watching, you're in Florida, especially in South Florida, which is I'm telling you, it's a totally different world down here when we're looking at COVID. You know, so with the state of Florida, man, the numbers of cases, deaths, the capacities of the hospitals are starting to fill up. ICUs running out of space, all that stuff there. So it's evident that whatever's going on with this disease, it ain't getting no better, right? So the numbers are going up with that. But at the same time, here we are looking at next month. We're talking about literally about almost a little bit over 30 days from now, opening up the doors of schools where children and children and teachers, staff, all that, where people actually have to commune together, you know, and work around whatever it is, you know. You get the picture, right? Okay,
exactly.
Cool. So you got that one going. Now here's another interesting thing that I'm gonna share as well. Let me try this one, right? So we got that going on in Florida. Then now, my great home state, and this comes from the great governor. I don't know where y'all transport this dude from. I don't think he was really from Georgia though. Yeah, but the governor here, right? The governor of the state of Georgia, Mr. Brian Kemp, decides to actually declare a state of emergency at the same time now, you know, while they're still preparing for schools to open up next month. So you got a state of emergency. Now, I just want to kind of paint a picture, see if we can put this together. You got a state of emergency that's being declared, where you got troops coming in and all this stuff, curfews that's going to be issued, all these things, right? At the same time, you also have this disease that's floating around that is the reason why everything started kind of getting crazy in the first place, right? Those two things are going on at the same exact time that you're saying, okay, matter of fact, South Florida, Miami just went back and they put out an order a couple of days ago to reclose the restaurants. They had already shut down the bars, but reclose the restaurants as well as the gyms, movie theaters, all that stuff is closed. It's looking like it's about to come into Broward County to where they do it again. Miami-Dade County, which is the largest county in Florida, is on a curfew, right? So all this stuff is going on at the same exact time that you are talking about opening up the schools for kids to go back into it. So you can't go and grab something to eat. You can't go work out at the gym. You can't do all this stuff, right? It's not safe to leave your house and do all these other things, but it's safe for children to walk into schools. Like, that is a little weird to me. Don't you think that's a little awkward, Keith?
And then one of my issues is that you got to understand that the kids are not going to keep those masks on. Because they really don't understand, you know, why they're really wearing the mask. So now you're going to have those kids going to different places, and then coming to the school, and they're going to be required to wear a mask. And half of the kids, they're going to lose the mask because they ain't going to keep it on.
Well, this is my
that's going to increase numbers.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying this is my concern is they haven't even proven that the mask actually do anything. So we're talking about a disease where you don't have any information. And that's my concern. Like, you telling me to put on a mask, but you're not telling what the mask really does. You know, you tell me wash my hands, do all that stuff. Me personally, I was doing that before. You know what I'm saying? So you telling me to do all these things that are supposed to stop the spread of it, but you still have not fully explained how people even catch it. Exactly. There's too many unknowns. So there's no way that you can say that, okay, if your kid walks into this school, as long as they stay away from each other, as long as they put some over their face, as long as they wash their hands, then they're going to be okay. There's no way that you can actually guarantee any of that. So you're basically taking a gamble. You are literally rolling the dice with children, you know, and it's not so much the children, it's with the little part of disease that I think we kind of halfway know about just a little bit, is that for some reason elderly people and people who have underlying health issues have a harder time fighting this thing off. We also don't,
and we got a comment from Miss Sandra.
Okay.
Miss Sandra says our BGC is opening up tomorrow. However, we are following all CDC guidelines, and we have taken extra measures to prevent the exposure of COVID-19. However, we are also depending on parents to do their part to keep their children safe. We are allowed 25 club members per unit, one fifth ratio. Sanitation and safety is our top priority.
Okay. Now, and with that, because that's the interesting part. I'm glad you shared that with us, Sandra. I was hoping you were gonna come on the show. You know?
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
She should have came on the show.
Yeah, because you from the inside looking out. I remember I even had a talk with, I think that was Mr. Wagner back in March, you know, about some of the things that they were looking at when it came to the Boys and Girls Club. But that's a very, very valid point. But even when we look at something like a Boys and Girls Club, okay, you got 25 kids. I know the Boys and Girls Club that she's at, we know that facility very well. It has a lot of space. So if you have 25 kids in there, you can separate those kids. You can monitor those kids. And especially with the teenagers, you don't have to, with their interactions, you don't have to be so mindful of them or whatever. You know, and there's so many rooms to where you can isolate a lot of these kids, keep them in small groups. So it's more of, okay, if a kid in this group has it, there's a great chance that it won't spread to other kids. If that makes, so like I can definitely see, with something like the Boys and Girls Club, I can feel more comfortable with sending my kid to a Boys and Girls Club than I can with a school. Because with a school, we're not talking about 25 kids. With a school, it's just like where I'm at. I'm in Broward County, man. Broward County is the 6th largest school district in the United States of America. They literally have a couple high schools that have 6,000 kids that go to one school.
Wow.
So you talking about, a whole population, of students. So even if they cut it down to say 25%, you easily still talking about anywhere between 500 to 2,000 kids on a campus. That's not including That's not including the teachers, the support staff. Down here they got security and all that stuff. So that's not including everybody that's attached to that. That's a lot of people. So it's that's where I'm kind of torn between the two, because for me, I have no problem with a virtual experience, right? I have no problem with that. I know that there's pros and cons to it, but I believe that at this instance, for me, I don't want to take no gamble like that. Like for me, if it's my call to make and my decision to make, I don't feel comfortable putting that. Like I can't go to sleep at night putting that on somebody else's child, or even putting it on mine. If they mess around and get sick from this thing, or they mess around to transfer this to somebody grandma, and now here it is, little Johnny is connected directly to killing grandma. I can't go to sleep at night knowing that I created that type of environment for it to even happen in the first place. So that was
the thing about it is I don't think that the staff is ready to implement this so-called plan that they have for these kids to come back to school. Because the thing you have to understand is you can control when the kids are in front of you, but when the kids are not in front of you, you can't control that. So you don't know where they're going, you don't know what they're coming in contact with, and then they're coming back to the schools and they're bringing back everything that they went through, different houses, different people that touched, and so when they come back to the school, even if they got a mask on, they still could be contaminated.
Yeah, and I mean they were talking.
I think Miss Saunders got another comment. She should have came on the show.
Yeah, for real.
She said my thoughts is, if you allow your child to hang out on the streets for a party that stretches 9 blocks, why not send them to school?
Well, I mean that's like I said, that's a valid point too. It definitely is, and I know that's been a major problem. Cause I've been, I'm down here, but I've been able to see a lot of stuff happening in South Georgia with a lot of the hangouts. Man, you got young people that they've been locked in, and everything, all their outlets are closed off. So young people don't want to be boxed in. I get it. What I look at is the sense of this. When we're talking about the system, the educational system, a kid walking into a building that is supposed to be a place where they're going to get something that's going to help them do something with their lives in the real world, right? When we start talking about that system, you have kids from all different types of walks and lives, neighborhoods, all this stuff there. Just because you have a group of kids that are going out and participating in all the foolishness that's going on, you have another group of kids that with them, they've been staying locked into the house. Like they haven't been going anywhere. They haven't been participating in that. But now they have to intermingle with these kids who have. So it's a catch-22 to it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not in that same boat. I think, and this is where we get into the solution part, because when we were talking to parents, and I was able to get a lot of feedback from people really all across the country, North Carolina, California, Georgia, Florida, and Ohio, right? Probably a couple other places thrown there too. Are you seeing comments, Jason Hunter? No, yours is the first one that I saw. I'm not seeing anybody's comments for some reason. I don't know why. Thank you for letting me know. I'm not seeing anybody's comments, man.
Yeah, I can't see it either.
Yeah.
Okay. I just seen Mama Hunter
Yeah.
comment. That's the first comment I've seen
That's
the whole
the first
time.
one I saw. So I don't know what's going on with the comments. Y'all keep trying, please. But yeah, what was I saying, Keith? I was going somewhere, man. I just got complete.
You was somewhere. You was going somewhere.
And you don't even remember.
No, I can't remember. I can't remember where you went.
Yeah.
I know. I heard building. I heard building.
Yeah.
Kids are going into a building. That's all I heard.
They're going to the building for whatever they're going into. Yeah, it was the options, right? Is that with talking to some parents that are in different places, it was interesting that there's all different types of options that were kind of thrown out there. You know, like a state like California, they're not even giving the option for the kids to go back, period. You know, Maryland, that was another place where we got some feedback from. They're not giving the option for kids to go back, period. You know, like they're not even talking about they shut it down to 2021. They're not even going to look at it, you know. So which I think is very cautious, you know. And now on the flip side, you got places like Florida who you know, at one point it was contained to a certain place to where you weren't seeing all these cases all over Florida. Everything was pretty much isolated down to the tri-counties down in South Florida, which is Palm, Dade, and Broward, you know. But now you don't open everything up, sped it up, and everything has spread it going up north. So now it's all over. It's covering the whole state of Florida, you know, from my understanding. But now it's you put in this force, this push to open the schools back up, you know. But at the same time, it doesn't look like it's almost like they're trying to strip away the options that are available, if it makes sense, you know. So it's almost like it's more pressure being put on a parent to really consider taking your kids to school. But I looked at in Leon County, and I really applaud Rocky Hanna. You know, I really applaud him for being very transparent, very open. They did a lot of like virtual forums where parents could kind of be involved with it. I was able to sit in on a couple of them and watch how he was doing it, you know. But for them, it's really, they have a solid concrete plan. They unleashed the plan. They gave parents 3 options. You know, if you want to bring your kid in, okay, this is what we're putting in place to try to minimize the risks and make everybody a little bit more comfortable and everything a little bit more safe. However, if you want to do homeschool, virtual school, whatever, you want to stay at home and keep your kid there, or even if you want for your kid just to come part-time, not fully come, like maybe 3 days out of the week or something like that, we can work with you know. So when you put the options out there, it definitely, I think it really kind of makes things a little bit more feasible, if that makes sense.
Okay, and so we got Miss Sandra Austin. She coming on again. She said,
yeah. Sandra, I'm about to send you an invite so you can jump.
You might need to go and send her an invite so she can just jump on here.
Yeah.
So she said virtual learning can't be an option for some students. She said that was proven when our schools closed down March 13th. Several students and parents were blindsided with talking to a computer screen and not having that hands-on learning. I think for me, Miss Austin, that is an awesome comment. Because what we realize is that now the parent has to do the teaching, and the parent has not been doing the teaching. So if the parent has not been doing the teaching and been relying on the teachers, I know one thing, that the parents appreciate the teachers and the school now. I bet you that I know they appreciate them more than ever, because they don't have the tools and what the skills to be equipped to teach their kids, even though they should. Because I was taught that, you know, school always starts in the home. So my grandmother taught me from home, but you know, some parents are at work all day long, so they don't get the opportunity. They don't get the opportunity to teach their kids. So that's very critical.
Yeah.
And then she said, and some parents feel that they don't have a choice but to send their child to school to get a proper education, and also fear for their child's safety.
Mm-hmm.
And then she talking about some no thanks, no invite needed. Yes, an invite is needed.
Yes, definitely. All right, cool. Oh man, now there's comments on here, man. I'm sorry.
Well, you got to go in there and look at the comments then, Jason.
Okay, yeah, because we actually had a couple comments on here. Sorry,
Oh,
y'all.
that's good. Let's go back
All right,
to
cool.
that.
Well, now we're gonna get on that. We're gonna touch on what Sandra brought up because it's a very valid thing. What I'm seeing and what I understand is this, man, is that because you hit the nail dead on the head that a lot of parents are not equipped to be the teacher. Awesome. I'm glad that we mentioned that. So since the parents aren't equipped, what is put in place to make it easier for the kid to be able to have access to exactly what he needs? You get what I'm saying? So there has not been an investment fully made into virtual learning. So all the investment has completely been made onto on-site teaching, face-to-face teaching, not virtual. You get what I'm saying? So it can work virtually if there's investments that are put in place to allow for different types of ways of learning to be able to take place. You have certain kids that can literally sit there and you don't have to hold their hand. You don't have to do nothing. They don't even have to have a teacher. They can go through the actual and go on full speed. We have those types of kids, but you also have the kid that they need somebody talking to them, telling them what to do. They need the one-on-one, or they need a classroom setting. Those are there's so many different types of options that are out there. That's why I actually like virtual learning. Personally, my personal story for me prior to COVID, my youngest, my stepson, he's 15. And we made a decision to actually take him out of school in December, and we enrolled him into virtual school ourselves. This is before COVID hit, because and then we took on the task of becoming the principal, the teacher, the all that, right? However, with each student, they have people that are on the other side of the virtual program that what they're doing is monitoring how is this kid performing, what does he need, like how does this kid learn, what do we really need to focus on. So they actually put an actual program around him to where it allowed for him to be able to really engage with the teachers, and really as us as parents, because I'm not no mathematician, I'm not no scientist, I'm none of those things. I just know how to tap into people and get them to stay on track, or to be interested in certain things. So with that, with me having that strength and that talent, that type of ability, it made it a whole lot easier for me to be able to play my role as the parent, for everybody involved to play our roles, to be able to help out the teachers while they help our kids. So when you have that type of formula put in place, it's going to be successful every single time. It's just finding in a nutshell, I know that the virtual system, it can work. It just has to be an investment that is made into it.
And so Ms. Austin said that the investment was made to virtual learning, but it was just for the college students only.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, college students. Yeah, definitely college students. But yeah. So like I said, I think we need to kind of reevaluate that situation, because the way I view it is this, man. If we dealing with this right now, do you think this is the last time that we gonna run across something like this? So what
Not at all.
So what are we doing to make an adjustment? So I think it's really prime time for us to start looking at the technological advancements that we have right at our fingertips, and seeing how can we use this and incorporate it into what it is that we're already doing. Just to be able, so when the next time something like this comes along, we're already in better shape, or we're already a little bit more prepared. I see a comment, man. So let's see. Let's do it. A school. I got a comment here. Let me see. I'm sorry, let me get it together, man. I don't know. It feels like it's been a long day, brother. I don't know. All right, so here we go. I got a comment here. This is from the great mother, Mildred.
Yes, Mama Hannah.
Yeah. Let's look at a school the size of Harper in Thomasville. For people that are outside of Thomasville or South Georgia, Thomasville is very unique, and really South Georgia schools period are very unique because they do what they call what is it, neighborhood schools? What they call it? Isn't it neighborhood schools? Keith?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they incorporate what they call like a neighborhood school system, to where you have smaller schools that are close, that kind of are set up that are close to areas where people live. So you have smaller schools. So Let's look at a school the size of Harper, which is a small school in Thomasville. How in the H can you put a sensible space between kids in a small classroom? This is insane, and this is really a valid point, I believe. You know, how can you with the space that you have available, you know, literally with Harper, I believe, like a school like Harper, a small school like Harper, the class size was, I believe, between like what, 15 students.
15, about, yeah, at least about 15, 20 students. And then the thing about it, you're talking about 6 and 7 year olds telling
Yeah,
them, making them
sit
space
still.
out. That's not gonna work.
Yeah, it ain't gonna happen, man. Yeah, I don't see it working out either.
It's not gonna work.
Okay. Now you said you had another comment that was over there.
Okay, so and then Miss
Yeah.
Austin, she said, thanks for clarifying that. See, I was not aware of virtual learning beyond college students or for
Really?
students that were forced out of school, such as alternative students.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a great point. I think a lot of parents and even a lot of administrative people that are involved in the school system aren't aware at all the stuff that's out there. You know,
Exactly.
I became aware of it back when I was working with let me see, I was working with Sycamore, matter of fact, and I took on I kind of partnered with the alternative school in Thomasville. And basically, I had a homebound program. These were kids that weren't allowed to step foot on campus, but they were given access to what they
I
call
remember that.
the A+ program. You know, so I had to go in. I worked directly with the principal to find ways to make it easier for these kids to actually participate in the learning. You know, so I mean, 'cause kids, they weren't doing the work. You know, so I had to find ways to really engage the students to get them just to simply do the work. But once I figured it out, man, these kids started making up grades, like literally. Matter of fact, we had a kid, man, that made up.
I remember that.
You remember that one? Yeah, went
Yeah.
on, graduated and everything. This boy was 2 years behind. You know, but he made up 2 years of school in 1 year and ended up graduating on time. You know, so when you have an investment in the technology that's out there, and that's why I don't know why we're not speaking about that a little bit more. You know, I don't know why that's not on the table. I don't really I don't want to put too much pressure or point fingers on the local level, because you know these superintendents and administrators, they're dealing with something that's a whole lot larger than them, and once again it trickles down. So they're dealing with what has been kind of put on them, trying to work within those guidelines in a crunch. You know, I think it's really on the higher levels of government statewide, you know, that it really, they're kind of controlling the narrative of what it is we have to play with. You know, if you
Exactly.
if you beating across people's head, open up, instead of slowing down and saying, hey, what are the other options out here? You know, it's the only thing I keep hearing is the same word being used over and over again when it comes down to the decision making, and that is economy. We got to do this so we can get the economy flowing. I'm not a big fan of that. I get it. People got to eat, bills got to be paid, all this stuff. I get it. This is capitalism 101. I get it. But anytime that you put a dollar over the life of a child, something ain't right with you, and you need to check yourself. And that's all that I'm saying. Like, as us, as decent human beings, as parents, as you know, uncles, brothers, whatever, you know, us as actual human beings, I really believe that it's time to really put some checks in place, to where we start calling these folks out for being the monsters that they are. You cannot put a dollar on a child's life. If it's not safe, it ain't safe. We need to say that it ain't safe. You know,
Exactly.
if we kind of hold it down a little bit, we need to say, hey, let's rethink this. Let's think about this a little bit more, because once it's done, it's done. Once these kids start entering these schools, there's no taking it back. You know, everything is cool until something goes all the way to the left. And once it's done, it's done. There is no going back. You can't reverse that. You know, so I really hope and pray, man, that people are really looking at this from as many angles as they possibly
From
can.
all areas. Exactly.
Yeah, and I know we actually have, and I'm gonna mention it was a comment that was made earlier today, and I respect it, you know, and I truly understand. We have parents that if they kid don't go to school, then they can't work. I get it. You know, we have those situations. And and to me, that tells me that something is wrong with the system to where a parent has to make that type of decision. You know, so there's and that's why I say we might need to start looking in a little bit higher places, because if parents are put in a position to where that they have to make a decision, do I risk the safety of my child, or do I go away from what it is that I really want to do when it comes to decision making for my child, or what's in the best interest of my child? If I make this decision, it's going to cost our livelihood. Like that's something I think we really need to kind of pay attention to, as well as hold some people accountable for. Just keep in mind who put us in this situation.
Exactly.
You know? So definitely. Matter of fact, let me share this thing. How do I share, man? Share with
So
my friends.
Ms. Sandra said, great in- informative session, guys. Keep doing what you're doing for the community. See you Sunday, Keith.
Yeah.
Gotta go strangle whoever that's popping fireworks outside my window. We ain't got no bail money, mama. Okay, perfect. See you Sunday. Thank you so much for all your feedback.
Hey, yeah, we definitely appreciate you, Sandra. We definitely appreciate you. Hey, that was so smooth too, how she checked out.
She checked out real smooth.
Real smooth. All right, guy. That was great, man. That was great. Now I gotta go. I ain't seen no other no 30
That's good information, because and you know what my ultimate goal is. I would love to if we could do it like a part two, and you know, get an educator, get a parent, get a community activist, someone we can get the feedback from all angles, from every perspective, about this situation, because this is a situation that's getting ready to occur. You know, schools are getting ready to open back up. You know, and the parents that I've talked to, they're not sending their kids to school. They're not sending them to school. They're gonna leave them home, and so what that's gonna do is they're either gonna teach them from home, or they're gonna risk not getting their education.
Well,
because of the child's safety.
Well, and that's another point that was brought up, and I mean, you know, you got to remember when we tackled it with Miss Everett, you know, that was one of the things that got brought up, was that, you know, a lot of parents, they don't really see the benefit of their kid. What their kid going to school to learn? Like that's what a lot of people are looking at. What is the education? Like, what is the actual benefit? So what's the point of me sending my kid into this place to where they're not really receiving something that's putting them ahead? You know, so that was something that came back up again when I asked that question earlier today. I was trying to find it, you know, but I asked that question earlier today, and it kept revolving right back to the same thing. You know, that this is not a thing that had, matter of fact, I'm looking at it right here. It had 15 comments on it. You know, the government, they're trying to get that money for the school year, and then they'll close them again in September. Okay, so the government is trying to get their payday. You know, this is coming from feedback from actual parents. You know, so they have to get back to their regular scheduled program. When you're in the business of programming people, you got to keep business booming, right? I don't know. Let me see. We got another one. To continue the generational programming of BS we were taught as kids. You know, got another one. Catch 22. This came from William Casanar. I'm sorry, I probably butchered his name, brother.
You probably messed that man's name up.
You know, I'm from Georgia. I can't help.
Take it for love. Take it for love.
But William, he was gonna come on tonight, but he had something come up with his child, so you know he wasn't able to make it. So we got Catch 22. He got a great point. Catch 22. On one hand, enough parents and educational leaders saw the distance learning wasn't effective as face-to-face. On the other hand, the glorified babysitting aspect was remembered. And don't forget that at the end of the day, education is also a billion-dollar business. When we come down to the bottom line, man, that's what really kind of irks me a little bit over and over again. You know, I've been working with education and community for 12 years. And I'm not a millionaire yet. Now I plan on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm working towards it. However, if I got into it and if I got into it for the money, then I wouldn't have stayed. Like I wouldn't have been able to go 12 years with doing it. Like education is not one of those things that's driven by a dollar. So if we're making a decision solely based on the dollar, something is wrong with that formula. It does not match up. It doesn't add up. Here we go. We got another one. All right, Courtney Sunshine Born, what's going on? We got another one popped up. I'm getting excited to see comments. Yeah. Okay, I'm glad we can see it. Let me see. Okay, so we're gonna share. We're gonna share here. My son actually brought his grades up. Yeah, my son actually brought his grades up with online instruction. However, my daughter has fallen behind. My son will be in the 7th, and my daughter is going to pre-K, which is interesting. Pre-K. My productivity at work is falling, even though I'm working from home. That definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Definitely.
And see the thing, and see again, to piggyback off what you said earlier, Jason, is that some people can do the online thing. There are students that actually excel better virtually than being in the classroom, but some kids need that. They need that one-on-one. They need that extra attention. They need that classroom setting in order to get the grade, and in order to not just get the grade, but be effective.
Yeah, and that's a valid point. And what I'm saying is that what I know is that it can still happen virtually. If a kid needs more one-on-one time, would then set up the system or the program in a way to where they get that, but it's just done virtually instead of having to be face to face. Which is something like I've seen it done. So it's not something that's impossible. It's done all the time. What I'm saying is that what I'm really see is that a lot of the options that are out there aren't even being considered. It's almost like, okay, look, 1, 2, 3, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? They're not. It's almost like we need to do a little bit more digging to find out what are all the options that are available, all of them. So brought his grades up with online instruction. Now here it is, pre-K, which my daughter was actually supposed to start pre-K this year too. I don't feel comfortable with her going to a physical location right now, even though my daughter is a social butterfly, right? She loves being around people. The downside is she's a hugger. She hugs everybody. And like right now, she's being home so much, to where anytime that I do take her out, the first thing she wants to do is hug somebody. It don't matter who it is, because she misses having that actual touch. So pre-K is definitely one of those hard, when you teach pre-K kids, you got to know what you're doing. It's definitely a lot of factors that come into, especially when we're talking about younger children.
And I think about and I do definitely want to do kudos, not just because it's my hometown, but I do want to give kudos to the Boys and Girls Club in Thomasville, because what I did see them doing, they were still being connected with their kids. They were going to the different locations, the different houses, the different addresses, and checking on their kids, being safe, but checking on their kids. So sometimes the child needs to see that extra, that support. The child want to see that, are you really there for me? Or can you really reach me when I can't get to you? Can you get to me? And so the Boys and Girls Club here in Thomasville, they did an awesome job. The school system here in Thomasville did an awesome job, because they even did drive-bys. They even went by and checked on the kids in the public housing. So it's somebody who wants a paycheck, and then it's someone who cares. That's the difference. Whether you just want the paycheck, or do you actually care about the child and them getting their education?
Yeah. And that's kind of the system period. But that's also the benefit that you really have when you're dealing with smaller areas. You have to just keep in mind that larger places like where I'm at, you're talking about in the where I'm at in the Tri-County area, Broward, Palm, and Dade. You talking about 6 million people, you know what I'm saying? Exactly. You were talking about so it's a little bit different when you're looking at it from the standpoint of being able to do, being able to kind of problem solve through these different things, you got to look at the reality of the situation that you're actually in. You know, so that's feasible for a place like Thomasville, but it's not feasible for a place like Broward, Dade, or Palm County. You know, that's something totally different. You know, just like what you can do in Leon County, you can't do in Miami. It's not the same. You know, it's not so that's what I'm really looking at, and it saddens me that there's a call that's being made from a statewide level saying that you got to do this. Like that's
Exactly.
what really kind of getting on my nerves. And I'm gonna touch on because this is what we're gonna do here. Because with Courtney, right? She added on that she just doesn't know what to do with her daughter. Her daycare is open back up, and they want her to come back, but she's reluctant and stressful. And I get you. I truly understand. And that's what we were talking about with parents kind of being caught between a rock and a hard place with their comfort levels. You know, you kind of pushing people to make uncomfortable decisions when it comes to their children. That's not right. You know, what I can say, and I'm gonna offer a little bit of not so much advice, but kind of troubleshoot a little bit. You know, if it's a thing to where now I see, because you have a young child that's kind of struggling, you know, by doing it this way. Probably be able to do it better if they were in a more traditional setting. Cool. That's understandable. But at the same time, and also the other thing that's kind of working against her is that she's having to work from home. So you got your kid that's right there with you, and you trying to get your stuff done, but then you got your pre-K kid, your little daughter that's jumping around and doing all this other stuff. It can be distracting. I get it. You know, so now it's really kind of weighing out the pros and cons, because on the other side, we have what you call the unknown variable. You know what I'm saying? You got the unknown on the other side. You know, so it's really finding a way to be able to put some type of system around. You know, if she stays home, you have to have a system, a structured system that makes it to where she can get more of what she needs and stay out of your way. But at the same time, it's looking at, okay, over here, the other side, you got to weigh out the pros and cons on the other side too. Yeah, she probably will get the stuff that she needs at that moment, but at the same time, you might be putting her in a situation that you're uncomfortable with. So when you weigh out those pros and cons, you got to kind of lean to which one actually makes sense. You're gonna lose something either way that you go. You know, you're taking a chance either way that you go. You know, me personally, I rather, you know, what I know is if I make a decision and it affects my daughter in a way to where it's something that she can't get over or come out of, and I made that decision, it's going to be very hard for me to sleep at night. You know, so that's just the way that I view it. You know, so it's really just, if you can weigh out the pros and cons, it'll definitely help you out a little bit more, as well as talking to some of the administrators. You know, talking to some of the administrators, that's the advantage that South Georgia really has over a lot of places, is that a lot of the administrators are easily accessible. You know, so if you can talk to the administrators and see, like, hey, what are some options that are out there? You know, to be cool, Keith, and I think I heard someone saying this before. In fact, I talked to somebody in Central Florida about this, and that's being able to have what they call like satellite locations, to where kids that need to have like that interactive time, you know, you might take only maybe four or five kids, and you put them just at this one place, this one location, and that's it. They don't come in contact with anybody else but this one person. You know what I'm saying? But that one person gives them everything it is that they need. You know, if that makes sense.
That'd be neat.
Yeah. So yeah,
that'd be good.
That's what I see, man. If there's, I really wish there were more options out there to where people could really start looking at investing in satellite locations. You know,
and see, the thing about it is what COVID-19 has done for me. You know, in the beginning of the year, because they said it was 2020 that we were gonna have 2020 vision. What COVID-19 has done for me is made my vision clearer. So now you have to think outside the box. We've been thinking inside the box so long that it can only be done one way. It can only be done this way. So now God has allowed something to happen where now we got to think outside the box. It's a different way to handle this. It's a different way to do this. It's a different way. So once we come into the mindset that it's another way that we can handle this. It's another way that we can do this. It's another way we can go this way. We can go the way we go, but we just have to get out of that inbox mindset and think outside the box. So just be creative thinking.
Yeah, we got to get a little crazy.
Gotta get a little crazy.
Gotta get a little crazy with it, man.
And, a little crazy when you think.
Try something. Because to me, the crazy idea is taking a bunch of little kids and throwing them into something, like throwing them into throwing them in the jungle. You just don't throw a bunch of little kids in the jungle, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just don't throw them in the jungle and be like, okay, here you guys go. There's too many unknown variables, you know. So that's just all I'm saying. So let's see here. We got another one. Who's looking at what it takes to pull in dollars to provide more virtual programs, along with the money to provide the technology and computers to all our kids? Okay, to be honest with you, it's a great business model. You know, like that's the part I don't get. You know, you can take and that's where I think even with what you're talking about makes a whole lot of sense, Keith, is that we have to stop looking at things basically the old way and look at things outside the box. I think there's a shift. There's a great shift. But what I'm really looking at, like I said, man, I don't care. Nobody tell me capitalism and democracy will never coexist, right? Soon as you allow for corporations to have the same types of stake in government and citizenship and all types of things that revolves this whole entire country. As soon as you allow for them to have that type of power, you have now created a situation that it can be detrimental, just like what we're looking at right now. So, and I say that because if you break everything down, what happens to, just think about this, man. I had to point this out to somebody one time before. What happens when the people that make number two pencils and Scantron sheets, right? What happens when you take this thing and do everything virtually, even the testing, all that stuff there? Kids don't have to write on there, and they just type it or do I. What happens when you take you take all the paper stuff that these kids were having to do? What happens when you take that out of the equation? You know how much money that is, man, just for the person that supplies number two pencils, Scantron sheets, the testing, like when they pick up and take it up. You know how much money that is? You talking about multi-million-dollar contracts that will be lost, right?
Exactly.
So now it's a shift. And that's what we're talking about with the business of education. Instead of us really looking at, okay, how can we reallocate these funds? If we cut out this stuff that we would have spent for kids having to be here since they're not coming here for this period of time, because we're not talking about anything permanent. We're just talking about, hey, these are the options right now. If we're talking about kind of switching over that business model and turn it over to a more online base, what that means is the online entrepreneurs are going to start making more money. They're going to start getting these contracts instead of the people that were providing Scantron sheets, number two pencils, vending machines, the ones who had a vending
machine. That's what's going on.
All that. So you have an incentive for people to not even look at reallocating these funds or investing in another avenue. And that's where my problem really lies when we look at the business of education. You know, is that we're so focused on the dollar that we are putting lives in front of that, and something ain't right about that, man. That is evil. You know, like there's nothing. There ain't nothing good about that one, man. You know, there's nothing good about that, man. So it's really, so what I really see is the shift once again, Keith. Just like how you said, man. If I don't think it's such an issue of people not being able to think outside the box or look outside.
They're just not doing it
because it's not in their best interest to do it.
Exactly.
And I think that's where the problem really lies. You know, this is a funny thing, man. You'll have a Governor DeSantis or a Governor Kemp be so adamant about opening up the schools, but I guarantee you they ain't sending their kids.
Exactly.
They ain't sending their kid. Right. It's just like with Governor DeSantis. He started opening up the state of Florida, but he ain't open up the governor mansion.
He ain't open here high. Exactly. They ain't open up the White House for visitation.
If you wanna make everything so mandated and mandatory, well, how about you go first? That's all I'm saying. If you really about what you're talking about, do it first then, and let's see how it turn out. So I think that'll really be, if you want to think outside the box, Keith. That's what I propose right now. Anybody that has a great idea, right, and they really want to push it to, instead of allowing for the local places or people that are really stakeholders in the community, or people that have kids that are going to these schools, instead of allowing for them to solely make their own decisions, how instead of, if you don't want to do that and you want to mandate what other people do or what they really have to work with, you do it first, and then you let us know how it goes. That way we can watch it. We can watch and see, hey, you know what? That DeSantis man, he really did have valid point. He done sent all his kids and all the other politician kids and all the other rich kids. It was 100 of them. They went to the same place. They've been there for 4 weeks and I ain't seen nobody die yet. It might be okay. Once you do that,
he lead our follow.
You do that right there, I'll be a believer. But I don't see nothing. I don't see it. Nah, man. That's the crazy part, man. You come up with this idea and you say, hey, y'all do this, y'all do that. Bro, I don't see you doing it. So what's the point of you trying to pressure me?
That's right.
Yeah, so that's something to think about, people. You still watching this, man. Make sure we use some
good. That was good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, matter of fact, let me see. I gotta add this. Parents have more leverage than they realize. They must stand together. Okay, I already see where this is going. They must stand together, schedule meetings with school systems, and demand. You said demand. Demand.
They gotta take a stand.
Safe learning environments. The business of education is not going to volunteer a different way. Taxpayers must demand. And
say that, Mama.
With that being said right there, man, and that's the bottom line.
That's the bottom line, because Mama Hunter said so.
I mean, there's nothing more to really be said. Parents, parents, man.
There's nothing more to be said.
Yeah, parents. That's the bottom line there, man. Parents.
You got to demand you got to demand your child's safety and demand your child's education. You got to.
It can be done.
You are the voice of your child.
No, it can definitely be done if it's done together. If you had just one or two parents that's showing up, and like I said, I've seen a lot of school systems that are out there that they've been opening up forums for parents to give their input and feedback, but you only have a handful of parents that actually show up. So if there's a way that parents can actually stand together collectively, don't think that you have to sit back and be quiet when it comes to your child. So if parents can actually form together, stick together, find ways to where you can approach these people that have to make these decisions. If you can approach them in a way, and it's a whole lot easier to get things done on a local level. I firmly believe that a lot of the local decision makers, the superintendents, the administrators, they're looking at it from the same place you're looking at, because with them, they have to show up to work too. Some of them aren't really 1,000% sure about walking in that door either. So they have to make decisions that's in the best interest for everybody. So if they know that they have the support of parents with them as they make these decisions, it's a whole lot easier for them to stand up against the bullies that are in these higher places, coming up with these great ideas that don't want to go first. So so definitely that is truly the bottom line there. It's truly the bottom line. All right, Keith, man, I gotta find out what happened with the with my feed.
Yeah, you got to go do some troubleshooting.
Yeah, it wasn't even showing, like, normally when you go live, it'll show that it went live. But we had quite a few views on here, man. I just hate that we weren't able to get the more of the comments in like how we usually get. But definitely we greatly appreciate everybody that's tuning in.
Yeah, because I was able to share it.
Yeah. Well, once I shared, that's how I
was able to share it and start the watch party. So
Nah, they blocking us, man. Nah, we coming with something, brother. Something phenomenal is about to happen because now we starting to get blocked. But definitely, man. Nah, it was great. Definitely had a great conversation tonight, man. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna come up with something very interesting. I love to touch on this again, especially as we move a little bit closer. You know, I really would love to touch on this a little bit more again. I want to see if we can get some more decision makers
Again,
involved.
part 2.
Yeah. Let's see if we can get some decision makers involved, man, so we can really have some feedback. So parents are more empowered when the closer that we get, you know, knowing what types of rights that you have when it comes to your child, knowing what it is that you can demand and what it is that people have to provide in order for you to have what it is that you need to be the parent that you want to be for your child, you know. So that's just pretty much yeah, let's see if we can put that together. Hopefully we can get that done in the next couple of weeks. Let's put a little time into that one. So we'll set that up. So anybody, if you want to be involved with what it is that we have going on, if you want your voice to be heard, anything like that, if you want for us to tackle any type of topics that are out there or provide solutions to anything, make sure you inbox either me, Keith, or Shift itself. All right, cool. Now, we greatly appreciate everybody that tuned in today. If you're watching this on the replay, we appreciate you for spending your time. We hope that we added some good value into your life. So with all that being said, you want to get us out of here today, Keith?
If all hearts and minds are clear, until next week, same day, same time. Peace. We out, Coach Jay and Keith. We out.
Yeah.
Peace.
Shift. The new world is here.